Good evening. M.M Out here again. And we've been off the air for a little while. So I think it's fitting that we start back with one of our most popular guests, the Apostle Lynroy Scantlebury. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Morris. Pleasure to be here.
Yes. The last time you were talking about Six Men's.
Yes.
And the situation in Six Men's. What, because I read in the newspaper sometime a couple months ago about this squatters. And what's your take on that?
Well, that situation in Six Men has been going on for years. I mean, decades, I think, from the time I was at secondary school. That situation in Six Men has been going on. What has happened over the years is that you have a continuation where children who were born into families who were squatting in Six Men, some of them have actually now built their own homes in Six Men. So it's now a compound issue. But the reality of it is that the whole matter of the land is that it is a huge legal battle. It has to be sorted out, and it could have been sorted out between the two ruling governments, and that's something that has not been done as yet.
Both parties?
Both parties, yes.
Now tell me something. You mentioned the word squatter. Could you explain what a squatter is for the audience?
Well, that really is an individual who has built property, housing on someone else's land, or a property that is owned by another individual. They've actually built their houses there without express permission of the owner.
So would you say that aptly describes the situation in Six Men's for the majority of those people?
For the majority of those individuals who are living in Six Men's, I would say yes, that's the situation.
That there are squatters?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What puzzles me is that Six Men's is a BLP stronghold. Not only a BLP stronghold, Six Men's has been represented by the former Prime Minister.
Yes.
And I would think that if anyone who could have solved that problem, it would have been him. But not the blame goes on the other party too.
Yes.
But I would have thought that he, most of all, would have been able to do something about that. What do you think?
Well, I completely agree with you in relation to that situation. I think the people in Six Men's have been dealt a raw deal. That's my honest opinion. I was there back in the day when the former Prime Minister, Mr. Arthur, would have gone to Six Men's with the same issue. I was there when Mr. Bain had his meeting there at Brady's Bar concerning the same case. But nothing really has been done. I spoke to one individual who actually took matters into her own hand and went to the Town and Country Planning Department. And she told me she was told that the land is just one solid mass. It has not been subdivided, so no one can actually purchase the lot or the plot that they're on. So this is a compound situation that has gone on, and as long as it is not dealt with, Mr. Morris, it's going to curtail into something major at some point in time.
So we could actually have a situation where one day the bulldozers just come and push these things away?
Well, I don't think it will actually come to that. I think it may come to a situation where, in terms of media publicity about the event and people coming to the point where we really need to do something about what is happening there. But I don't think it's going to be a bulldozer situation. I don't think good people in Six Men deserve to have that type of activity.
Again, what puzzles me, and as I said before, now Six Men's is a bastion of the Barbados Labour Party.
Yes, it has been for a long time. There are many areas in St.Peter that are very much strongholds of the Barbados Labour Party, but when you really pay attention to those areas, they're all neglected. I've been through all of the 26 communities that makes up the constituency of St.Peter, and all of those areas where there's a strong grip by the Barbados Labour Party, they are neglected after the elections. And this is one of the things, I think, beyond Six Men's and looking at St. Peter on a whole, there's a need for the people of St. Peter to really begin to understand we need to take our future into our own hands. This is now beyond party.
But I'll tell you something. A resident from St. Mills actually told me that he has not seen Colin Jordan since the elections.
Well, one of the things that, and not getting into the whole effort of the political, but this is something that is very critical in the 6 Mills. I've been into 6 Mills, Mr. Morris. There are individuals living in 6 Mills that still do not have running water, still do not have electricity. There's an elder gentleman that I actually went to his house. His bathroom facilities are on the outside. And the house that he lives in is in such a way that when there's heavy rainfall, the entire house is engulfed in surrounded by water. So he can't get out of the house, which is a situation. And when you look at what is going on within that area in 6 Mills, there are several individuals that I spoke to personally, over 10, some in terms of 15 years, going back and forth, dealing with different entities, but not getting any results. And this is something that has to be dealt with in order for people to live better lives here in St. Peter.
I would wager that that same gentleman that you spoke to is probably supports the Barbados Labour Party to the hill. I don't know who you're talking about, but I would risk to bet that that particular individual is a diehard Barbados Labour Party supporter. And talking about 6 Mills, I have a little story here. It's actually true. For years they've been holding a cricket match on Father's Day.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. And everyone looks forward to it. It's even been played on the lights. Religiously, this thing has been played like for the last 30 years.
Wow.
Up steps Colin Jordan to become involved with this said cricket match. I am still waiting for this match to come off.
Wow.
He became involved in the organizing of this event. And I'm still waiting for it to come off. So, Mr. Jordan, we're still waiting for that cricket match. And I'm not holding my breath. No. Nikki Beach, down there. Do you see any benefits for the people of 6 Mills by the construction and the operation of Nikki Beach?
Well, let me go back to when I was at Brady's Bar with the Democratic Labour Party's candidate at the time, when they were talking about 6 Mills and the building of the marina. One of the things that came up was actually the idea of giving them a fisheries complex.
That would have been Mr. Ben?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was stated that because of coastal management assessments and the funding that would take to actually do that, they were not able to give them a fish market in that area. Okay? Nikki Beach was built, from what I know, after Port Ferdinand.
Yes.
Which means that the people of 6 Mills could have had a fish market.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I think what is necessary for us to understand here before we look at that whole element there of Nikki Beach is that 6 Mills is one of the last remaining absolute fishery villages that we have in Barbados, which makes them a part of Barbados's heritage.
Yes.
Which can in an instant be blown away if it is not carefully maintained, and if the relevant authorities don't pay attention to 6 Mills, and if the people of 6 Mills don't make a decision to make sure that their livelihood is maintained. Let me go a step further to say that I personally believe that the people of 6 Mills have been dealt a raw deal, and we are now going back 15 years with the Barbados Labour Party, 10 years on the former Democratic Labour Party. That's 25 years that has gone by with nothing happening. I don't think that it should be allowed to continue. I think something needs to happen to better those people's lives.
But you did mention, that there are different governments that you just spoke about.
Yes.
But there was a constant BLP representative.
Yes.
Constantly.
Constantly.
Except for one day by Mr. Sibiliko. One day. That doesn't count.
Well, let me say, I've ran here in St.Peter. Now this is 2 elections that I've faced. But St.Peter is, in terms of election, it's an unfair parish. It's an unfair constituency to the point that there was a season when Sybil Leacock ran against Owen Arthur. The parish, the constituency was fair. There was equal BLP supporters along with Democratic Labour Party supporters. Since we had the split in St. Peter,
that would have been the first by-election.
Yes. Now we have about close to 5,000 plus Barbados Labour Party supporters versus about 1,500 to 2,500 Democratic Labour Party supporters. So one of the things that I'm saying is that this is a very, in terms of winning in St. Peter, it's an unfair place, but you still have to do it because people need to know there is an alternative to what's happening.
Okay. Wasn't there something where they changed the boundaries?
Well, that's what I was referring to because
Yeah.
the moment that the boundaries was changed here in St. Peter,
So
that's what made it became so unfair because most of the Democratic Labour Party supporters were cut off and sent into St. James North.
For example, Roadview.
Yes.
And it's ironical that most of these supporters are from the DLP
Okay.
that were sent Ashton Hall.
So you have Ashton Hall, you have the zone, you have those areas. And amazing that still areas like Black Bass is still in St. Peter. You know, so it was mostly like all of the strongholds of the Barbados Labour Party, those areas were kept. So that's something that I think even the Electoral and Boundaries Commission at this time should actually take a look into, because I think that boundary, the direction that the boundary went into was very unfair.
Even me, because I used to live in St. Peter, but now I live in St. Lucie.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in St. Lucie. Nikki Beach. Is there, I see no benefits for any of the people in 6 Men's. Again, I would wager, I would bet that there are not 10 people from 6 Men's who work at Nikki Beach. Not 10.
Okay.
And that's ridiculous. That should not be. And there are lots of people in 6 Men's who don't work. You think that's fair?
Well, I obviously would not say that that's a fair situation. I think what is necessary is that, again, for an entity like Nikki Beach and you're coming into an area like that, I think would be very, very important that you look into those areas and you look for people who you can actually train so that you can be a part of the community. One of the things that's Spikestown and St. Peter we're actually losing right now are businesses that were involved in the community. For example, even Wally's. Wally's was so involved in the communities. I was actually there by Mr. Wally's one day when a gentleman returned from England who was a police sergeant over there, and he came there to actually thank Mr. Wally's for helping his mom send him to school. You know,
And
so
that would have been way back.
This would have been way back. So these are the kind of things that I'm talking about. I think more involvement within the community of businesses that are coming into St. Peter is critical right now.
Okay, Apostle. The production team is letting me know that our time is almost up.
Yes, sir.
But we're going to continue this in the second part. So we're going to take a break. And we M.M Out There. We shall be back with Apostle Lynroy Scantlebury very shortly.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.